Dear students, it is week 3. It is video 2 for week 3, lesson 5th, and we are covering ideology of Pakistan, fine, and or history of Pakistan in chronological order, two nation theories and Pakistan movement. And uh, now in this video, I will cover the points that the two nation theory and approach of the Muslim leaders. Dear students, as I expressed that Muslims believe and Aqidah monotheism, that there is no God but Allah, and the Holy Prophet ﷺ is the last messenger of God. Fine. And for the Muslims, Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ is the last word. Clear? Well, this thing isn't, this makes Muslims entirely different from the other religions, from other, especially from the Hindus, which are the open shirk, that they believe in deities, whereas the Holy Prophet ﷺ destroyed the buts and idols and gods and deities almost 1500 years ago. Fine. And Muslims, having lived for almost 1000 years together with the Hindus, came to a very striking conclusions, and their leaders of the earliest Muslim era and medieval age, in times of Akbar and in times of the other developments, which proved that Hindus and Muslims are entirely different races and they are not alike. Well, dear students, in this context, look at this picture that is shown on your laptops. This is Pakistani flag and this is Indian flag, and the question marks are there two. What are the similarities between them? Clear? So all these colors, formation, style, they express not just colors, but they express a complete system of life in one another. Okay, although the Indians and Pakistani flags show off some flexibility, but yet the questions are proved differently from the historical and especially the current affair uh, developments. Well, we take into look the first uh, the historical development of the uh, two nation theory. Well, as I expressed that that Muslims are entirely different from the other nations. Clear? And Islam prohibits worshipping of the uh, deities and gods and idols, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has expressed, inna shirka la zulmun azim, that seeking the counterparts and seeking the equivalents to the God is the greatest the greatest act of heinous cruelty. So it is banned by the Muslims. They are the earlier concepts that of the Tawheed and Sunnah. Now, we express a very interesting personality in our first, that is uh, Al-Biruni. Fine. Uh, Al-Biruni, the greatest scientist of all times, came to India with the conquerors like Sultan of Ghazni, and he established a greatest observatory in Potwar region, especially Pindadan Khan, and in the same place he measured the length of the earth, which was quite accurate without the latest equipments. He also expressed that the Potwar region once, or especially this Kalarkar Valley used to be, or this long area once was a part of some sea. Clear? Well, Al-Biruni made many interactions and a close interactions with the political and the religious pundits of the Hindus. He came to know and he said that Hindus and Muslims are not one nation. They are entirely different because Hindus have quite a restricted mind and they don't let the other nations, people, religions, ideas, concepts into intrude into them. They don't have the capacity to absorb them. They consider the other people malige, especially the Muslims. They dislike the rulers, Muslims. Fine. And they also have developed a very intricate caste system which assigns authority only to one class of people, they are the Brahmins, where all others are treated uh, all are treated as slaves. Clear? Thereby, he said that Hindus and Muslims are not one nation. So this was really a very important concept that has been given. Okay. Secondly, we see that second person is Mujaddid al-Fisani. That when Akbar the Great came under the strong influence of the Hindus, and thus he created a new religion that is called Deen Akbari. Fine, that is called Deen Akbari. Deen Akbari was that Akbar collected some beliefs from Hinduism, fine, some concepts from the Christians' ideology, fine, some concept from Muslims, and he became himself that protagonist of the religion. Fazi and other were some of the people who were the supporters of the Akbar. At that time, Mujaddid al-Fisani, Sheikh Ahmad Sarhandi, Mujaddid al-Fisani, he came with a very strict opposition and he strongly opposed Akbar's religion, inculcating Akbar that Muslims are entirely different and Akbar has no authority to mingle different religion and recreate a new religion for the Muslims. Akbar got resented and he imprisoned that person, but he didn't give up. Okay, on the death of Akbar, he was released, and Jahangir abolished all those beliefs which Akbar created. Okay, the next uh, eventful incident that came into India that should be kept in mind, that Hindu rulers have always thought to kill Muslims in all their fields, and thereby there have been many battles on the basis of the two nation theory. Clear? I will clear you those battles. Number one, for example, when Sultan of Ghazni attacked, this was also the same concept that Jaipal wanted, that the Muslim territories under Afghan Empire, especially Ghazni, they were being attacked by Raja Jaipal. Thereby, uh, Sultan of Ghazni, Sultan Mahmud Ghazni, responded strictly and made 17 attempts. Later on, Shahabuddin Ghauri, he was ruling this area, but Hindus wanted to sweep Muslims away from these lands, and there happened a huge battle between Shahabuddin Ghauri and Prithviraj Chauhan, who uh, means gathered a huge army and invited all the Hindu princes or prince and kings, and there was a fight. Unfortunately, Shahabuddin Ghauri lost and his army was destroyed badly. But he didn't give an egg. He returned to Afghanistan, prepared an army, came again in the next years. He killed Rana Sanga and he killed Prithviraj Chauhan and conquered Delhi in the Battle of Tarain. And still, the present rivalry of the Muslims in sub between India and Pakistan, they have created, they have designed Prithvi missile. Clear? India perhaps designed a missile or missile before Pakistan. They named it Agni and Prithvi. Clear? Pakistanis constructed missile and they named it Gauri. So they are actually, these two words give you the very brief concept of the two nation theory. Okay, the third two nation theory emerged that uh, in strong Mughal era, the Marathas, clear? I'll show you the map if I could. Okay, the Marathas of the subcontinent, clear? Marathas, the basic Hindus, they used to live here in these areas, the central of India, that is highly populated by Marathas. Marathas were the strong Hindus, and their leader was Shivaji. He hated the Muslim a lot. He launched armed campaign against the people of subcontinent, Muslims of subcontinent, especially the Mughal rulers. He defeated Mughal rulers, destroyed and killed many Muslims, and resultantly captured a huge land. The people wanted to destroy Muslims in all areas. Fine. And the proof of this is that if you watch some of the movies issue released by Indians in these era, they all show that how Marathas wanted to destroy this. Okay. At that time, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, at that time, uh, the greatest Sufi philosopher of all times, Shah Waliullah Rahimahullah, he did certain actions to revive the Muslims. Number one, he asked the Muslims to abstain and keep away from the Hindu ideology and their practice and religious uh, and social norms. He asked the Muslims to develop their Muslim ideology in them, and he also asked Ahmad Shah Abdali to come and fight against these Hindus who wanted to destroy Islam. Clear? There have been worst battles. Almost all the Hindus, these uh, dharam developers, they came and they fought. Fortunately, Muslims resisted and they were able to destroy or defeat the Maratha powers. This is the proof of the two nations theory, that if there had not been any issue between these two nations and they would have been one, why they have been fighting so severely in the history. Okay, and two nation theory is also different when the uh, Sikh emerged and they had a different system. So Sayyid Ahmad Barelvi went and fought against. Two nation theory is quite a different ideology that promoted the Muslims to fight against even the British. It was the only Muslims who fought the War of Independence in 1857. Clear? And they remained stout to this. The next, the champion of the two nation theory is Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, who, when Muslim had completely fallen to degradation, asked them not to give in heart and rise up against and develop in the education, link with the latest education, scientific education, and take part actively in the political system, in education, and then join the political system. Otherwise, the Muslim will be diminished from the world. And he was so a marvelous leader that he uh, invited Muslims, created the Aligarh Muslim University. According to the two nation theory, the movement of Deoband that came and they taught the people. Okay, on the basis of two nation theory, uh, in Khilafat movement, Hindus did not support Muslims. Clear. And last two greatest personalities, according to the Qaid Azam's Allama Iqbal's concept, Muslims are not the same. And thereby, in Khutbah Allahabad, he gave the concept that uh, Muslims should constitute a government where the most of the Muslim population resides. Finally, the Qaid Azam, in the initial stage, were a greatest champion of the Hindu-Muslim unity, and he didn't want the partition of India and Pakistan. Rather, he was interested in sort of confederation. Yet later on, when Hindu mentality, especially Nehru's mentality, came into open to Qaid Azam, clear in Nehru report, then Qaid Azam gave entertained 14 points and were became strict that Muslims are different and India should not be handed over completely to Hindus, rather it should be divide and leave. Thank you very much.